Hello everyone, this is a special edition Sunday account review episode. So just the camera here. Now, I want to share this because I believe in transparency, and you can say any kind of thing about me you want, but should not call me a fraud. So one second, there you go. There's the all-time chart of the account. Now, I don't know why people always ask for the all-time chart. I usually go one day, week, month, and year just to kind of compare performance to the S&P 500. The reason I don't like to show the all-time chart often is because I have to clarify a lot of things. Number one is that I started putting money into this account in August 28th. So let's find it here. Somewhere around here in 2018. And the account was at $30,000 back then. You can go back 4 years and look at the first videos, and you'll see the account at $30,000. And the reason why it's so flatline before that is because you only had a few $1,000s before, and I wasn't really taking this account very seriously. I started doing videos and started this kind of challenge in August 28, 2018. And so this is kind of the starting point. And you can see that the account shows $74,000. That means that I've added about 44,000 or maybe like 42,000 over the course of making these episodes. Now, if this actually works against me, okay, so the performance of the all time is 124% for the last 4 years, let's say, whereas the performance of the S&P 500, we're going to use the SPY as a proxy, over the past 5 years has been up only 47.8. So I've more than doubled the performance of the S&P 500 over the last 4 years or even 5 years. But not only that, I'm also winning on the 1 year chart. If you can see here, I'm up 4.83%, whereas the S&P 500 over the last year is down actually 16.58%. So I'm beating the S&P 500 by 20% over the last year on year. Now, that's not even actually that impressive. Like, I don't know why anybody would, if you just held on to Apple stock or some other company like that, Microsoft, I don't know, you probably have better returns over the last 5 years. What I'm doing is nothing really that special. I mean, yeah, it's difficult to beat the market over the course of 5, 10 years or 20 years. It's correct. And over the 20 years, about 1% of people beat the S&P 500. And over the course of like 5 years, that percentage is up to like 5%. So you can say that I'm in the top 5% of investors. Like, that's fine. And the leverage does not disqualify that, because leverage counts against you even harder when things are going down. Like, for example, in the last month, take a look at this. The performance of my account has been absolutely dismal, right? Do you see this? Over the last month, it's down over 20%. And that's because my account is leveraged. It wasn't that levered at the beginning of the month, but then I stacked on leverage. Things continued to go against me, and so now it's at a major dip. So it's not good. Leverage can work against me really badly. I'm actually losing to the market in the last month. So if you look at the S&P 500 over the 1 month period, it's down only 10.68%. So only 10% versus my 20%. So I've crashed harder than the market by double because I'm levered. So it works both ways. I mean, it raises a lot of value on the way down, and it helps me a little bit on the way up. Sometimes I'm not levered, sometimes I'm levered. I try to stick to a process that I have to see if I can manage to maneuver the leverage in and out and reduce when it's time and increase when it's time. Right now, obviously I've increased leverage way too early, which is kind of a mistake. I do this a lot, and I try to learn from it. I try to be more patient and more methodical. I always try to look ahead of the markets too quickly, and so I get punished for it. But yeah, I mean, look, these are all my positions on the right. I'll even go through the history for you. We'll review everything. All the options positions are here on the right. You can pause the video player at any moment to try to figure out the exact positions that I hold. There's a lot of Chinese ADRs, call option spreads. These are my equity positions. I sell a lot of options, again, all my positions, so I can collect a little bit of extra premium from that. I'm actually down on most of my positions at the moment. Here we'll go to the account tab, go to the investing tab. You can see everything here. I have a total of $270,000 being managed right now. My equity is 162,000 almost. And I'm using 40.11% leverage, which is about 80% levered. Or in other words, I owe Robinhood $108,494.50. This is my current equities sorted by return. I've had Apple ever since I started the account. So my total return on Apple is just $22,000 at the moment for the amount of shares I have. I've been in and out. And then realty income somehow is still positive because recently all of these dividend payers have taken a major hit. Paramount Global is negative 10,000 and Smith & Wesson is negative 20,000. So I've taken some really heavy losses. I expect these things to bounce, so I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, I mean, it's difficult to manage leverage. But as far as the all-time account, I do have some comments here. My percentage gain would actually be greater if I didn't add any money, right? Because I actually add money. I tend to add money towards the tops whenever I have, but I haven't actually done it in more than a year. So, or at least about a year. So I usually add money in this period here where I'm already at a high point. It's not like, I'm doing something to manipulate this. If I didn't add, right, and let's say I only kept it at 30 and, I've only earned like 10-20% of the money that I added. So that means you would cut this number in half, okay, let's say roughly. So I would actually be sitting at like something over 200% gain for the last 4 years. So it actually works against me because it's starting me off from a higher base. Do you see what I mean? So if I added, for example, $162,000 to my account today, it would only show as a 2% gain over the last 5 years. So it actually works against me. So my returns are higher than is being shown on the app, on the website. And don't even think that I'm manipulating any of this. I mean, I don't even know how to go about it. I don't even know how to operate Photoshop, let alone fake any of this. And also, I don't even know why I would need to fake it. I mean, there are plenty of people with performances that are better than mine. I'm just an average investor. I mean, yeah, I've done better than most people, but there are plenty of people that have done extremely well, including professionals and including some people that just hold one stock for a long period of time. It's not necessary that just because we've had like a 20-30% drawdown in the market that everybody must be in the red. That's not true. So the last time I added was probably November last year. I had like $1,000 that I put in. In fact, here it is. We'll go to the transfers history. And you can see that November 29th and then July 29th and 28th and then back all the way back to May. So we'll go to the investing, go to all time. Let's figure out where July 2021 and November is. So July, there you go. So I added somewhere here where the market is pretty high, especially relative. It's actually higher than today. So I've lost money based on that investment, right? When I added money. And then it was, November 2021. Well, there it is. November 21 is at 190,000. So that means I've lost money on that money that I put in. So these percentages actually, they work against me. Okay, so if I didn't add any money there, my percentages would be better. And I haven't added any money since then, okay? My high was 2000 and I think it was 14, but let's call it 2012. In August 12th this year was when I hit an all-time high. And ever since then, it's been a pretty steep, precipitous drop, twice as bad as the market. But because of my leverage, I'm hoping to bounce back and see how I do. But if there's anything in the account that you want to see, I'll show you anything you want. I mean, this is fully transparent. I don't even know. This is my watch list. I don't know what else you want to see. I show you the investing tab. I have you can see history on each individual stock. Like, let's go to the Apple, for example. We'll click on Apple. We'll do, where's the history here? There you go, show more history. Okay, and over here you can see all the transactions that I've done, all the dividends that I've collected, all the call option, the put options and call options that I've bought and sold. Here's the recent ones. You can see some sells, some buys. I'm in and out of positions quite a lot, and so it screws with the P&L a little bit, but the numbers over a long period are not wrong. At one point I had 30,000. Now I have adding 42,000 extra dollars. Now I have 161. So that's pure math. Like, I don't know what's arguable there. You can't argue with that, right? There we go. I have some Apple sales. There's the dividend from Apple, and I can keep scrolling and forever. I'm in and out quite a bit. I sell out of the money call options on Apple every once in a while. In fact, I have like 5 or 6 calls on Apple out of the money rolling right now that are expiring like November or something. So there's quite a bit of these like $14, $19 out of the money call options that I'm selling. I've sold some 10 shares of Apple there on May 27th. And you can see I'm pretty active in this stock. I mean, I try to trim when it's high, and I try to add a tiny bit when it's low. I try to sell call options when it's high. Put some extra cash to work in Apple if I have some extra cash. So, I can keep all the way down. You can pause the player at any moment to try to figure out the exact transactions. If you want to like calculate them, I went through a period where I was just buying 1 share at a time to try to get it up to like, whatever 500 or whatever the number was, just with any kind of extra cash, like dividends that were coming off out of positions or from money coming in from selling call options or put options. And so I would buy like 1 share at a time, however much I could afford, to try to build a decent position. There, a call option exercised, 1 contract. Oh, so I bought a call option. This is me selling it for 6,151. I'm sorry, 150. Back in January 2021. So I had a couple leaps on Apple, which made me a lot of money. I guess $6,000 there. I don't know what I bought it at, maybe 3,000. So there's all the activity, all the way back to, and this is more than 50% of my account. So if you see the activity on Apple, you've seen half of the activity, at least money-wise. All the way back to, this is February 2018, and this is September 15, 2017, which is when I added my first. You can't really see, it's kind of down, all the way down there. But you can see 2017, I added some money before I even started this channel. I got my first dividend on November 16, 2017 for $6.30. Okay, so humble beginnings. Here's another dividend for $6.30. Another dividend. So you can see that's 3 quarters of inactivity in Apple in 2018. And there's $8.76. And then this is when I actually started accumulating Apple fairly seriously. So I had only like 10 shares before that. 10 shares of Apple. So that's all the activity on Apple. I've also held Realty Income for quite some time too. And I think since the beginning, it's one of the other positions that I've held for a very long time. We'll go to the history. There's just absolutely nothing to hide. Like, I don't understand. And the thing I don't understand either is I'm not selling anything. It's not like I'm selling a course or I'm trying to like screw people out of money. So I really don't understand what motive I would have to misguide anyone into anything. This is a journaling goal for me, and I want to not only journal my thoughts whenever I'm going through a specific phase. It's much easier than writing because I never wrote journals before, so I think video is much easier. So that's goal number one. Number two is to try to connect to people. Like I like to, because investing is a pretty lonely journey. So I like to be involved in some kind of community. So this is the realty income starting from the most recent positions. I like to be involved in some kind of community, to connect with people. I actually browse other people's videos often to try to figure out, like, okay, how are they doing with their accounts? And I listen to all kinds of like investment shows and podcasts to try to keep current. So I want to make it more of a community experience, because otherwise it gets pretty lonely, right? So those are the two main motivations behind the channel. I'm not selling anything. Like, I don't even ask you to subscribe or like the video, right? I'm not out there to get you. But here's the realty income. This I've held and built up this position over a long period of time. I haven't had to sell any of it yet, so you won't see any sells here. So I've accumulated $20-something thousand of realty income. And this dividend, I'm going to scroll quickly. This dividend has been steadily increasing ever since I started the account. You can see here I didn't buy realty income for a long time. It was only yielding in 2019, 18, $4.52, $4.42, $4.53, $4.39, $3.51, okay, $3.50, $1.48, $1.06. Really small amounts. Down here is 63 cents, even 42 cents when I only had 3 shares. So in 2017. So it's before I made my first video. First video is probably made somewhere here after this dividend. So I've had realty income ever since I started the account, and this is the entire history. Like I don't know what else there is for me to show. So yeah, I mean, one thing that I don't like is being accused of being dishonest or trying to do something underhanded. Definitely not trying to do any of that. So anyways, that's the account. That's the clarifications. It's been tough. If you guys think that this is impressive, I don't really find it that impressive, but some of the things that I kind of rely on is things I've learned from sports, because I used to be an athlete, and one of my biggest assets is kind of mental strength and not giving into pressure that comes with, especially the market. There's a lot of mental pressure, and one thing I've learned to do through competition is not giving into mental pressure, and I try to use that edge, as well as the fact that I actually have a lot more experience than this in the markets. I've been investing since 2007. So what's that, like 15 years? So I have about 15 years of experience in the markets, and I've seen a lot of things. I invested through the great financial crisis. I learned, I cut my teeth on doing like silver stocks. By the way, silver is getting to the territory where it might be buy again. If it drops down to like the 15, 14 levels, I think that it's definitely going to be a buy. But I'll make a video when I think that's happening. So I made some money in the precious metals, lost a bunch of money on the precious metals. I've generally stayed away from high growthy stocks, which has hurt me in the past 10 years, because that's where all the money was made, exception of Apple. But Apple is more like a utility stock to me now. I mean, everybody needs their Apple phone. Like, it's basically a utility to connect to people. It's a utility to do anything, entertainment, productivity, you name it. In order to use any app that everybody else uses, you need an iPhone or Android, but Apple's got a bigger moat, better phone. So arguably. Anyway, so what else can I attribute to it? Not being afraid of the market, not giving into pressure, having experience, and also willing to learn. Like I'm constantly researching things. I'm constantly learning new terms and new strategies, and finding out like more and more about the market as I go, and I'm still learning. I'm not some guru. I'm not a professional that's gonna like sell you anything. I'm not out here to try to manage your money for you. In fact, I don't want to. I want everybody to go through their own journey and learn how to manage their money themselves in the markets. Just an individual that I'm just learning as I go, and I even accept help. Like if you think that there's something I could be doing better, like please list it in the comments. I will give advice. Advice meaning like not tell people what to do, not financial advice, but help them on their journey. And I also accept help from you, right? We're in this together. Like it's not necessary for some people to be poor and other to be wealthy in the market. We can actually literally all of us be wealthy, right? Like imagine a scenario where 100% of the investment base, 100% of people bought the S&P 500, at any point in the last 10 years, like let's say 2010 or earlier, even 2008 or 2007. If everybody bought the S&P 500, 100% of people would still be here, and we would all be richer than we were back then. That's a fact. So it's not a zero-sum game. Like some people don't have to lose in investing for others to gain. So we can all be wealthy. Therefore, we should all support each other and not try to knock each other down on our journeys, because we can all be wealthy together. All right. Okay, that's the video. I'll probably make another update tomorrow when something's happened in the account. All right. Peace out.